Hi everybody, this is Mr. Lu. This is a time where it's coming to the end of the year where everybody have to make a decision whether to put money into the SRS. Now, some of you may not know what is SRS. SRS means Supplementary Retirement Scheme. So it is a scheme that is kind of similar to the US 401k, where you actually put money into this account to supplement your retirement needs. And the best part of this is that whatever you put in up to a cap of 15,300 for Singaporeans, it is the tax is being deferred, meaning that you do not need to pay a tax, and you only need to pay the tax at the point of withdrawal after you retire. So this is a very good scheme. Now the question right now is there are two things that many people actually make a mistake on SRS, right? I would say a huge mistake. Number one is that not everybody should put money in SRS, okay? And number two is that after you put money in the SRS, they just leave it there and collect dust, okay? So what do you do with SRS is the second question. So let me answer the first question first. Who should put money into SRS? Now, people who put money in SRS must have a reasonably high tax bracket, right? High tax bracket. If your income tax is nothing, okay, then there's absolutely makes no sense for you to put money into SRS, right? Because it's a tax deferment scheme, meaning that it helps you reduce your tax right now, okay? And if you have no tax to talk about, and there are a lot of Singaporeans who don't pay income tax, by the way, then you put money inside, is totally no use, right? So the SRS is only meant for people with a reasonably high tax bracket. I would say, in the north of 5% or so. If you're between 1 to 4%, really not quite exciting to put money into SRS, okay? So I would say that only for people with reasonably high tax bracket, then you put money inside, it makes sense. The second thing to take note is that the SRS, once it's put inside the SRS account in a bank, actually use only the prevailing interest rate, which is not very exciting. So what can you do at SRS? Well, you can use a lot of things, like you can use it to buy stocks and shares and funds and all this. I would still in a big proponent that the SRS should be put into a S&P 500 or a MSCI World Index fund type of stocks, so that it will yield a compounding over a long period of time. The SRS is meant to be locked up over a long period of time. So putting SRS into such funds like MSCI World Index or S&P fund or any funds as a globally diversified index makes absolute sense, right? So the SRS is a very good tool for long-term compounding purposes. So do take note that the end of the year is coming. If you miss this end of the year, then end of year deadline, then you will lose that benefit. So do consider that. So number one is that it's not meant for everybody. I was told that half of Singaporeans don't pay income tax, okay? Because Singapore tax allowance is actually pretty generous. So about half of people don't pay income tax, which means that more than half of Singaporeans actually should not be putting money into the SRS. And the second thing is that once you put money in SRS, you got to consider deploying the SRS into something that compounds over a long period of time, or else you'll be collecting dust and eat up by inflation. Okay, so this is a small food for thought, and right now it's probably a time to spend time thinking about this before the end of the year comes. Okay, so if this find this little knowledge useful, please give a like and hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you and goodbye.